to idols, cards are life itself. Aikatsu is a multimedia idol project featuring games, music, concerts, and currently, VTubing. Across mediums, one thing stays consistent. There will be outfits, and not just any outfits, there will be chords. These are inspired by annual themes, but also follow their own design process. From concept to chord, there's a lot to speculate on. So let's try to figure out Aikatsu's fashion philosophy. I want to start with the closest thing to real-life clothing. The most basic outfits in Aikatsu are classified as either brandless or normal. These are conventional outfits that could be seen in real life. The brandless chords are pretty realistic. Their textures and patterns are pulled from real-life fashion, and they feel less fantastic than the other chords. While some do feature a cohesive theme, a lot of these feel like everyday wear. This is also a catch-all category for school chords, collaborations, and sometimes recolors. There's always a place for these in every series, so I thought I would explain them from the very start. On the other end are the premium rares. These are the most dramatic designs in the series. Each one represents a brand's major ideas, colors, and motifs. Let's start with the original, iconic Aurora Kiss chord. How would you describe this outfit? If you could pick one word, what would it be? There's a chance some of you said angel, right? The PRs of the first series are all based around a clear visual theme. With one look, you should be able to grasp the chord's concept. This makes each design iconic and recognizable to children. You might not remember the name, but you can probably remember the clown outfit, or maybe the fruit dress. Even when the details fade, it's easy for you to remember what each brand is about. Another aspect of early PRs is an emphasis on complex but grounded structure. While later designs are more high concept, I've noticed a stronger attention to detail in these first designs. They've got more intentional cinches and tucks that leave the chords feeling quite structured. I can easily grasp how these outfits would look and move in real life. The third and most important feature are the motifs. Motifs are recurring elements in a design. For example, in the Party Queen chord, we've got crescent moons in the hair, armband, and corset, as well as moon jewelry across the skirt. The motifs of this era are often separate accessories on top of the design. There's a clear separation between the outfit itself and its theme. This is the lowest level of integration, with the chord featuring the motif slapped onto a design. Other PRs on this level include Rose Bonbon with its massive roses and butterflies, as well as Aurora Kiss, which features ribbons and wings. This doesn't mean they're bad designs though. They just represent how chords were designed back then. Because the chord's theme and structure are separate, broader themes tend to struggle. For example, while the TriStar chords are burlesque inspired, there's no universal symbol for burlesque. This leaves them with a lot of negative space. In contrast, the Soleil chords are sun-themed and feature sun decals across the outfit. This shows the limits of the design approach, with broader concepts making for boring chords. The literal interpretation also works against complex themes. I love the multicolor chord, but I'm aware some people find it visually jarring, and I can see that. The striped red section is really busy, and despite being the chord's focus, I understand why some people don't like it. Another example is Star Festival. The chunky jewelry feels quite heavy, and while it is festival themed, it's still a lot to look at. They're both very literal interpretations of their theme. For a quick summary of these ideas, let's look at the first two PRs from Future and Girl. Milky Way Cosmic is on the simpler end of the spectrum, turning the Milky Way into a starry texture along the skirt. The metallic borders are futuristic, with the crystals adding intrigue. This chord turns the concepts into design by making them simple visual elements. Space becomes a texture on the dress, while supporting elements add a futurist twist. On the other end is Kaleido Mirror, which incorporates a kaleidoscope into the dress with its patterns and cuts. This represents a union between the physical structure of the dress and the idea it's trying to embody. While you can take the space texture off Milky Way Cosmic, Kaleido Mirror is designed with its concept in mind. The shapes on the bust and skirt still carry that idea. This makes it inseparable from its inspiration. You can take the wings off Aurora Kiss, but with the blooming cord, the flower skirt is integral. Once again, some concepts are simpler than others, but I hope this explains the difference. Let's take a quick look at our scale. On one end are chords whose concepts are surface level, often being a texture or motif slapped onto the outfit. On the other, we see chords whose theme and structure are inseparable. With the first series done, let's move on to 2014 and see how the series' first gimmick changed their design principles. The second season of Aikatsu introduced the constellation system, which gave the premium rares an additional star theme to incorporate into the brand's image. This allows the brands to evolve and explore new avenues of design. So what changed about the chords in Season 2? First and foremost, every PR has wings, but beyond that, they each combine the brand's concept and constellation into a unified design. There's a lot more ideas going into these, so the complexity went up. Mermaid Pisces is a great example and a good reference point. Aurora Kiss was a very complex dress that featured 3 large ribbons and a pair of wings. There was a level of separation between the dress and the angel. In Mermaid Pisces, we see these elements interact more. For one, the mermaid theme is carried out throughout the shells, fins, and textures. Even the wings are fin-shaped. Every single piece embodies Pisces. You could take one look at any part of this chord and reasonably guess its constellation. It's a holistic interpretation of the dress's concept. There's nothing inherently mermaid-like about a pair of heels, but through the choice of color and jewelry, the idea is evoked. The constellation dresses embody this new philosophy, turning multiple ideas into one cohesive outfit. The designs carry a lot more detail with multiple motifs, textures, and accessories. Let's return to featuring Girl and its new PR, Crystal Aquarius. This combines the metallic textures of the brand with a crystal texture gradient that covers the deep watery blue and the deep purple of space. By supporting the crystal texture with crystal accessories and crystal wings, it creates a much stronger and cohesive image. With a greater amount of detail, the chords are all more visually complex, allowing the designers to show off new skills. Given the amount of colors and motifs, repetition is used to create visual harmony. Oriental Libra has the coins along the crop top and skirt. Musical Scorpio features a black skirt stripe to balance the black jacket. And Unicorn Sagittarius features rainbow colors on the wings, skirt, and shoes. Season 2's chords are a step above the rest. There's more colors, more motifs, and a greater exploration of theme. Slowly but surely, the series was moving away from its humble origins. The story system introduced a new theme for dress design, fairy tales. The designs evolved to accommodate this. Each story dress is rich with thematic detail. The fairy tale concept allows us to see how the designers adapt physical items into dress design. Odette's swan is a perfect example, with a feathered bodice and skirt. The feather shape of the skirt incorporates the lake's blue texture, and the swan details round out the theme. Here, the dress pieces, structures, and textures are completely tied into its inspiration. You can take the swans and colors off, but the shapes and structures still carry the theme. It holistically reads as Swan Lake. Beyond this, Season 3 features a massive improvement in textures. There's denim, patchwork, shiny glass, sewn embellishments, plastic scales, metallic shimmer. Each chord has its texture carefully represented. In interviews with staff, it's clear how much time was spent considering these details, and it really paid off. To date, this era features some of the most visually compelling designs. The fabric feels so realistic for this setting. It's a visual feat that we have to acknowledge. The sheer volume of dresses also gives us a lot to learn from. In Season 1, the dresses needed to communicate an immediate theme. Angel, Clown, Fairy, Queen. In Season 2, constellation dresses boiled down a zodiac's themes into one dress. This worked well in some cases for Pisces and Sagittarius, but worked less well for concepts such as Virgo and Scorpio. The third series hones in on specific fairytale characters, boiling them down to their most recognizable aspects. This really stretches the designs in cases like Growth Dorothy, which only shares its red shoes with a respective character. This would put it on the low end of our scale, where the chords theme is reduced to just an item or a color. It's joined here by Wicked Mirror, Girly Chronos, and other similar chords. On the high end, we've got Magic Midnight, Angel Alice, Thumbelina Bouquet, and Candy House. These embody Season 3's strengths. Each part of the dress is designed with a specific theme in mind. Candy House doesn't just feature a skirt, its skirt resembles a house with clover windows and a scalloped roof. Thumbelina Bouquet doesn't just have sleeves, the sleeves are shaped like tulips blooming around Akari's arms. Angel Alice has cardsuit buttons and a teacup hat. Nothing is left unconsidered. It's a new benchmark for future design. The other trend I've seen in Season 3 is the PRs beginning to suit each character. Rose Glass Princess isn't just Cinderella, it's also perfect for Judy. The glassy texture represents Cinderella, while the stained glass roses work to repurpose the glass and to tie in Judy's flamenco theming. The best example of this would have to be Soul Marionette. Let's start with a concept. Pinocchio is a wooden puppet. Puppets are made to dance using string. Rin Kurosawa is a dancer, and her brand has a futuristic theme. Enter Soul Marionette. The puppet theme is translated to a futuristic robot with chains all over her body, kind of like a puppet's strings. It's the perfect union between character, theme, and dress design. Despite not immediately reading as Pinocchio, this design uses Pinocchio's theme to create something entirely new. It represents the peak of Season 3's design philosophy. So good it doesn't even fit on the scale. Soul Marionette breaks previous design limits by creating something so new and yet so tied to its concept. Aikatsu's 4th season introduces one major design trend. The chords this season all feel very object-themed. Beyond the boom chords, it feels like so many designs are tied to one object. It reminds me of Prepara. The accessories carry more weight than ever, which is fitting for the boom theme, jewelry. I really like these chords. They're a little plain compared to the past season, but their simpler structure highlights the textures, patterns, and accessories. The strength of these designs shows the designer's attention to detail. Ruby Blossom's skirt has 3 layers with blossom print and polka dots. The ruby is framed in blossom with delicate golden beadwork. Sapphire Chandelier uses the chains to add rhythm to the simple angular shapes. Finally, there's Emerald Curious, which is a master class in spacing. The shiny lip decals add pops of color to this plain yellow cord, just enough to keep it busy, but not so much that it's garish. The party deco boom continues this trend with some of my favorite chords. By this point, the outfits are so creative that we're getting chords based on wreaths and gift wrapping and party poppers. It's such a burst of creativity. I always wished that booms had returned, since it feels like the series' creative limits were really pushed here. It all seems so fun and new. But sadly, the 4th series was cancelled early. The final new designs condense each brand into a flat texture to slap onto a basic chord. But it does show where we're going. White Sky Veil and the Luminous Unit chords have pretty abstract concepts. The blue sky and light prisms. While for now, these themes influence the dress's color and pattern, stars will take this further. I do like these chords, but they're clearly a bad fit for this season's design trends. Their reliance on flat patterns and intricate jewelry doesn't really help these concepts much. To see these broader concepts succeed, we'll have to wait for... Patreon is a great way to support creators, and it's a lot more consistent than ad revenue. Currently, I'm running a free trial, so you can get access to all the paid content for a month before deciding if you'd like to commit. Be sure to check it out in the description, and with that said, I also want to thank my current patrons whose names are now on screen. Let's get right back into the video. Aikatsu Star's core design feels like an important shift toward broader visual concepts. Think about the PRs of old. Let's look at Magical Toy. It's a bright carnival-themed brand, and therefore, the PR is a Pierrot. This one design condenses the brand's image into a cohesive and recognizable character. The PR is vital for brand cohesion. It has to summarize all the brand's ideas into one strong design. This is what separates Vivid Kiss from Happy Rainbow. From start to finish, Happy Rainbow's premium rares communicate the brand's focus on sweet treats and fruit. It was a luxury of the early arcade, which had much simpler concepts. So what happened with Vivid Kiss? Well, for one, the story system pulls the brand in a lot of directions. It's not really the brand's fault. The PRs represent the fairy tale, while the rares explore other ideas. It results in a brand that's vaguely tropical with some casual fashion. Clara Carol and Bubbles Mermaid do not exist in the same universe. Poppin' Cracker and Fine Drum feel at odds with each other. So how do you create a brand with multiple themes while maintaining cohesion? That is the challenge the Stars designers faced. The seasonal themes are one of the smartest ways to keep the brands creative while maintaining their core focus. My Little Heart can explore princesses, fairies, sweets, and antiques, all while maintaining its pastel palette and girly design. The first theme, Princess Time, makes for a really strong premium rare. Consequently, the rare chords focus on vaguely adjacent themes such as picnics, which are communicated through this checkered pattern. The brand switches from soft, fluffy chords in one part to structured classic looks in the next. The broad themes of the season allow for all kinds of design. With short skirts, pastel colors, and frills, pretty much anything can be My Little Heart. Romance Kiss is my personal favorite. Arabian Jewel, Asian Heroine, and Broadway explore different cultures across the world, creating a really expansive brand. What does a frosty queen look like in Aikatsu's world? Well, she wears a crop top, her fur trim has snowflake detail, and most importantly, her outfit's texture is a shimmery, icy gradient. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work like this. Stars is at its best when it can simplify complex themes into a readable outfit. Shiny Smile was not so lucky. Wonderful Parfait is one of the ugliest chords I've ever seen. This is the most literal interpretation of a candy dress. What happened? It's such a shame too, because the ice chords are much better designs. Shiny Smile in general has busy textures, awkward shapes, and a real lack of focus. Pop brands post Happy Rainbow seem to really struggle. Even the SPR just feels like street art with wings. Speaking of SPRs, these are basically the ultimate expression of Stars' chord design: rainbows, festivals, and dreams. Kirara's monologue in episode 54 really clarifies their vision here. When asked to design a pop chord for Fuwa Dream, Kirara and Ako take two different approaches. Ako's design leans into traditional pop tropes with neon colors and playful pieces. It's got all the things a pop chord should have. But Kirara's design is what wins, because it's not a translation of Fuwa Dream, but an interpretation. The dream concept introduces sheep, stars, and the night sky. Sweet Dreams has a purple palette that evokes the night, with the softer details of sleepwear. It's so much fun seeing how a nebulous concept like dreams could be turned into literal clothing. Even Yume's PRs follow this. The first has hearts, gingham, and bows, but the second explores the rainbow. What does a rainbow dress look like? Well, for one, it only needs 3 colors. Pink, blue, and yellow create a cute pastel rainbow with the aurora textures keeping the rainbow theme, without making it too literal. This is why it's the SPR. By Star's own logic, this is a better design than Premier Berry. My personal favorite is Daylight Festival. It's such a fun SPR. There's a mix of fun ruffle and glitter, with grounded elements like skirt tassels and jewelry. The bright colors give it a festive feeling, and the warmer palette is refreshing for the brand. It's a real step above past PRs, and keeps Romance Kiss's theme of pulling from different cultures. Floral Fantasia is our final example, which looks a lot like the Blooming chord. This makes it a great reference point. Both chords are themed around fantasy and use flower skirts and fairy wings. Blooming's flower skirt is quite limp, with scattered white flowers. The outfit's color palette is mainly green, gold, and brown. The most fantastic element is probably the chord's skirt. In contrast, Floral Fantasia is entirely purple. The flower skirt feels alive with its leaf-shaped accessories. There's also a lot more flowers, likely due to a stronger game engine. Rather than golden lining, this one features floral vining. The chord's palette and extravagant detail show the focus of Stars in comparison to the original. Even Tropical Beach leans heavy into the water theme with pool accessories. At its best and its worst, Stars leans really heavily into its themes. I really wish we had a third season to see even broader concepts turned into dresses. But for now, we need to move on to Aikatsu Friends had a really strong start. I like the themes explored here. There's something so simple and clean about this era. Material color is a personal fave for exploring mosaics through its designs. This is one advantage of the game's better graphics. The Neo combination chord stands out for its mix of textures and patterns. These angular shapes and cuts drag your eye across each pattern, with the thick black lines keeping everything readable. The rares explore these visual themes further. There's chords focused on stripes, chords focused on mosaics, and some designs that use both. My personal favorite is graphical mode, which combines this concept with print, creating a very cool design. Material color shows how simple visual concepts can lead to striking yet consistent designs. It overcomes the challenge previous brands had by sticking to a rigid set of design rules. This is why it's my personal favorite. Now let's explore the worst brands. Colorful Shake is themed around cheerleading and features alphanumeric print on fabric. Color contrast is important too. This idea is a lot less creative, so the brand can look quite messy. There's highlights like the PR and the joyful alphabet chord, but overall it's not a very dynamic concept. This is a challenge faced by Dancing Mirage, whose themes include butterflies and burlesque. The lack of consistent pieces make it pretty hard to gauge the brand's main focus. The short-sightedness of these two brand concepts leads to their later chords feeling uninspired. This might also be why the later brands have such strong theming. Antique Sailor uses nautical themes, and Silky Ocean pulls from traditional Chinese clothing. Even the second season's brands feel rooted in specific cultures. Humming Leaf is Tyrolean, Glorious Snow is inspired by the colder parts of Europe, while Heavenly Flame pulls from Greek culture. These early Friends brands explored simple visual themes, while the later ones are closer to the original. Sugar Melody has a focus on music with regal theming, using wide skirts and musical patterns. The brand is pretty vast, but the shapes and patterns keep it united. In contrast, Heavenly Flame has a lot less range due to being tied to one element and culture. The start of Friends was quite ambitious, showing just how far the fashion could go, but sadly, the series fell on old tropes before that vision could fully be realized. The final chords of the series aren't bad, they're just a clear step down from what came before them. How does each PR explore the brand's concept in a new way? By exploring this question's answer, I hope I've made a fun and informative video about Aikatsu. These are the kind of questions that keep me up at night, so I'm happy to share the answers with you. Let me know what PRs you like and why they appeal to you. I'm always happy to read through the comments and learn how different everyone's opinions are. With that said, I'll see you guys next time.